Our first card in today's list is Elemental Companion. This is a 3-mana spell that summons a random Elemental Companion. The Elemental Companions are Misho, a 4/4 with can't be targeted by hero powers or spells, Hifar, a 4/2 that makes your spells cost 1 less, and Luek, a 2/4 that gives spell damage +2. Now there's a very strong disconnect in this card. 2 of the companions buff up your spells and make them stronger, while one of them is just a decent tempo drop. This makes the card unreliable in my opinion, and potentially worse than the original Animal Companion, which always gave you those reliable stats. The issue with this card is 1/3 of the time you get a tempo stat minion, the other 2/3 of the time you get a combo tool. It just makes it too unreliable. If Misho somehow buffed up your spells, albeit less than Hifar and Luek, I think this card could be a lot better. The card is just too much of a gamble. It's not entirely useless. Maybe you can run one in some jank Reno Arcane spell deck, but right now, I just don't think it's that good. My final rating for this card is 2 stars. Next up on our list is Mantle Shaper. Mantle Shaper is a 5-mana 5/5 elemental Naga that costs 1 less for each spell you cast while holding it. Now, rating potentially free stats like this is rough. A lot of people thought Corridor Creeper was going to be bad, and that thing had to get nerfed like instantaneously. The fact that this is an elemental Naga doesn't really help hunters. Naga Hunter doesn't have enough support to be good, and Hunter has no elemental synergies. However, Hunter still has a lot of good ways to take advantage of this ability. We got a lot of spells like Bunch of Bananas, Barrel of Monkeys, Tracking, all the arcane spells, the Wild Seeds, etc. Still, this card needs to be drawn early to be useful. Though, like I said, Hunter has good draw and discover, so finding this early isn't that hard. Just imagine this, turn 1 Tracking, turn 2 Barrel of Monkeys, turn 3 Mantle Shaper. You don't need to make this cost 0. Even reducing this thing's stats by 2 is a 3-mana 5/5, and that's still good. I imagine this will most likely slot into Arcane Hunter. Reno Hunter doesn't run enough spells to reliably take advantage of it. Though Arcane Hunter is already pretty well optimized of a deck, I'm not really sure if the deck needs extra stats like this. It is free stats though. I don't want to give this a low rating. The card has potential, and I'm interested to see how people run it. My final rating is 3 stars, maybe 4 stars. Let's just go with 3.5 to be safe. Those were all the dual class cards with Mage. Next up we got the dual class cards with Death Knight. First up is Mismatched Fossils. This is a 3-mana spell that says discover a beast and undead. Swap their stats. This is not a good card. It's severely outclassed by other 3-mana hunter spells in both Wild and Standard. Discovering random cards generally won't give you anything good enough that synergizes with your deck, and the swap stats gimmick is unlikely to help this card be good. In Standard, we have Celestial Shot, the Wild Seed spells, Conscious Call, and Saddle Up as better options. And in Wild, if you want a value-generating spell, pick Ball of Spiders or Hunter's Pack. They will likely offer you better cards. The best thing this card can do is offer an additional value spell for School Teacher to discover, I guess. I'm going to give this a final star rating of 1 star. The next card on our list is Obsidian Revenant. This is a 6-mana 4/6 elemental with Taunt and Death Rattle. Summon 2 random Death Rattle minions that cost 3 or less. Now in Standard, there's not enough Death Rattle synergy for this to be good. The only 2 Death Rattle synergy cards in Standard are Nathanos and Yelling Yodeler. Both are too niche to be viable right now. In Wild, there's just no room for in Death Rattle Hunter. First off, Death Rattle Hunter isn't a good deck. Second of all, there's better 6-drops to run that do what this guy does, but better. The first one that comes to mind is obviously Kartut Defender, but there's also Oblivitron, Masked Revealer, and Sylvanas Windrunner. This card is sorta comparable to Mountain Bear back in Alterac, which was a staple of Big Beast and Death Rattle decks alike. The bear, however, though more expensive, was a beast, and the fact it was a beast means it could be cheated out and duped a lot easier. Another issue with this guy is that he taints your Death Rattle pool with 2 small minions. When he dies, he could easily summon useless 1-mana Death Rattle minions like Goblin Bombs or Zombie Chows, which taints your Death Rattle pool and messes up your jewels and 9 lives. I feel like this card will most likely just be run as a meme in Death Rattle Reno decks. Other than that, it lacks synergy or effectiveness to be ran in any actual good decks. My final star rating is 1 star. And our final card for the Showdown the Badlands mini set is Shimmer Shot. And oh boy, did I save the best for last. Shimmer Shot is a 1-mana arcane spell that says deal 1 damage, summon a random minion of that cost. Now this card, I think, is what was missing from Arcane Hunter. You see, when Arcane Hunter was first introduced as an archetype in March of the Lich King, it was pretty bare bones. There weren't enough decent arcane spells for the deck to work even as a sub-archetype. though over the past few expansions, Hunter has got to new arcane spells each time. Star Power in Festival, Celestial Shot in Titans, and finally, Shimmer Shot in the Badlands. After Celestial Shot was added in Titans, Arcane Hunter was pretty decent. This card, however, Shimmer Shot, skyrockets it, in my opinion. It makes the deck potentially the best in Standard and definitely the best in Wild. The card is cheap, provides tempo and removal all in one. That's the ultimate package for a Hunter card. It will probably replace Arcane Shot in most Hunter decks and become the prime 1-drop alongside Ricochet Shot, Tracking, and Bunch of Bananas. With Hunter's numerous ways to buff arcane spells, it can easily get large amounts of spell damage and summon 4 or 5, maybe even 6 cost minions, all on a 1-mana spell. I can see this even being run outside of Arcane Hunter decks, rivaling the likes of Sneaky Snakes in Arena Hunter deck. The card is extremely versatile and is another amazing 1-mana spell to add to Hunter's arsenal. My final rating for this card is 5 stars. And those are the Hunter cards from the Showdown the Badlands mini set. I think like most mini sets, there are some decent cards and there's also some stinkers. Only time will tell how these cards will affect the meta. For my final reviews, I gave Elemental Companion 2 stars. I gave Mantle Shaper 3.5 stars. Mismatched Fossils 1 star. Obsidian Revenant 1 star. And Shimmer Shot 5 stars. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.